420 Honeybee here. I am just starting a video today about the introduction to the vaping world. I have been at it for about a week now, and I want to show you some of the things that I started with. So if you're kind of interested on how I begun my journey, this is the video, so keep watching. Okay, so the first thing I started with, which I absolutely love, it's great for convenient time and on the run. This is also great for if you want to vape your THC or your CBD oils as well. They have the tip for that, like this. So that's pretty awesome if you are in Colorado or Washington, or you know, your medical marijuana as well. So that's another great thing about these Ego Twist batteries too. I'll talk about that in a second, but I want to show you how I kind of started and where my journey went, but I'll show you in a minute. So the first thing was basically just this small battery. It lasted me pretty much the whole day, and then I just changed the cartridges out. The only thing you have to worry about is taking this piece right here off at the top. That's it. Remove that piece. There's a hole there that you fill your liquids up in. So that's all you have to focus on there. And you put your tip back on. So it's very easy for the beginner. I wouldn't recommend going to the store and our gas station and getting the e-cigs or the Cig-a-lights, because if you're really serious about quitting, then they're not going to do you any good. You really need to like step up to these styles here that I'm showing you. So the Ego T batteries right here are basically by far the best starter battery that you can get if you're really seriously going to want to get into vaping. So I'll show you kind of how that works out here. So with the Twist batteries, you have several tanks that you can start with. The first one is going to be a top fed coil. So as you can see at the top, it has the cotton wicks, and that's a top fed coil. So these are pretty much the standard. You just twist them on here with your favorite liquid, and you're good to go. So that's the first option. Then you can also buy a Kanger tank. If you want something that's bottom fed, that's quality, that's going to last you, that is absolutely a really good investment, is a Kanger Mini Pro Tank 3, as you can see here. And they come in all kinds of colors, so you get to choose your option. So if you're a person that likes to have colors and things like that, you know, while you're smoking, then that's pretty awesome too. And it's very high quality. This tank was only 15 bucks and $10 for the battery, so altogether about 20 bucks. And this is a setup you need to start with if you're really serious about quitting. This is actually what I felt comfortable with, and it put me in the realm of vaping. And I haven't picked up a cigarette since, and so that was last week. So I'm going to go over some of the things like oils, like the e-liquids, e-juices. They're called several things. Now, one thing I experienced when you're starting out, oh, I forgot to tell you guys another thing I was going to tell you earlier. This is actually the attachment for the wax concentrates. And of course, you can see it is used because I did test it out. Wax concentrates, bubble hash, BHO, that type of thing, butter. So you just put it on the end of the battery. As you can see, like all the other attachment heads. So you can see this Ego Twist is definitely a great battery to start with if you're trying to do your all-over vape thing. Alright, so now for the liquids. So let's talk about the vape oils. The reason why I left this for last is because this is by far the most important thing that you need to worry about. If you don't have this, you will go back to smoking. This is the only thing that's really kept me from a cigarette, is the flavors that I can change out, the different PGs, VGs, things like that. So this is basically replacing your nicotine addiction or your smoking addiction. It's the type of oil that you choose. So this is super, super important. So I'm going to teach you what I've learned so far. So from what I understand, the only thing in e-liquids or e-juices are vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, nicotine. You can get them without nicotine as well, and also flavoring. So compared to a cigarette, this is just a better alternative. Not saying that, you know, this is some health benefit and all this stuff. All I'm saying is this is just a healthier alternative than smoking, because you know, every smoker, you know what I'm talking about when I say you wake up, you have all this congestion, you have to deal with all the problems, you can't breathe. And that's the main reason why I decided to go vaping, is because I had this one episode where I just woke up a couple days and couldn't breathe, and it was the scariest thing of my life. And I've had family members and stories, and so I just didn't want to go down that route, and I wanted to change. So let's go over the liquids. The one you mainly want is the VG. You want a max source of VG because PG really does start to dehydrate you, and especially if you live up in elevation, or if you don't live up in elevation, you can still become, you know, have allergies to it, things like that. So really you have to customize your liquid to your anatomy and what's going to work for you. If you're looking for a throat cough, or something really, you know, like a real throat hit like a cigarette, then you want to go a higher PG than the VG. So if you're looking for higher vapor percentage, then you want to go more VG, which is vegetable glycerin. It produces more vapor. So I prefer to go all max VG as much as I possibly can when I'm choosing the liquids. Now for the nicotine level that I usually start out at, or that I did start out at, is 12 milligrams. This was my first one, and this one was called Nectar. So I just want to show you really quick what I kind of started with. So this is the one I started with. This was 12 milligrams, and it was a company called Mercury. Second one is Ruthless. So this one is Grape Drink, and it's got 18 milligrams of nicotine. And the next one is, so far, my favorite, Mount Baker Vapor, which is maraschino cherries and apple strudel, which apple strudel was absolutely awesome. It's almost like it sounds, an apple strudel, and it has a cinnamon touch to it, and it's absolutely crazy awesome. I've vaped for it like 3 days now, and it has no nicotine, so I've been doing okay. Yep, no nicotine. And this one was, what was this? 12. The maraschino cherry was 12. There you go. And you can see it's 20% PG and 80% VG. So that's what I started with. So I hope this all gave you the basic information of what it was like when I started, and, you know, the steps that I took. If you have any question, I am by far not an expert whatsoever, but I can kind of maybe help you from my experience, because the vaping community is absolutely huge, and there's such a huge support system in vaping. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this has turned into almost like a hobby. They have local events, national events, things like that, so you can get into socializing, and it's something better for your health. So we got to stop waking up like smokers. And you know what, this is my first week, and I'm going to do a video on the things that I've noticed and so far of vaping and not smoking, and I hope you follow along the journey with me, because you guys are awesome, and I want you to have better health as well too, just like me. So we all wish the best for everyone. So keep watching and join me on my vape journey with me.